Good morning, and we are getting right into the plagues today. Remember to think about what this has to do with Jesus Christ, his atonement, and also how the Lord reacts with his people. First thing we're going to go to is right in the notes in the upper right-hand corner. Why did the Lord send plagues upon Egypt? When the Lord first called Moses to deliver the Israelites from Egypt, he explained that Pharaoh would not let Israelites go except by a mighty hand. The Lord then promised, "I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof, and after that he will let you go." The Lord said that through the plagues he would send Pharaoh and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, and that there is none other like me in all the earth. The plagues clearly demonstrated that Jehovah was more powerful than the gods of Egypt, including Pharaoh, who was seen by the Egyptians as a god. The following is a list of plagues, and we'll see some today and some in the rest of this week. The water turned to blood. Frogs, lice, flies, cattle die, boils, hail from the sky, locusts, darkness, and death of the firstborn. So those are the ones that we'll be covering here today. Well, not today, this week. And how they get out from these plagues. And notice at the end of this, who is afflicted. It doesn't say anything about the Israelites at this point. And the Lord said unto Moses, "See, I have made a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother, thy prophet." Now, we can take it as that, but it also, if you look in the footnotes, it means a prophet. Is that right? Unto Pharaoh and Aaron as a spokesman. So he's saying, make thee a prophet to Pharaoh, and Aaron will be thy spokesman. It's just the way that it's worded here. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, and he sent unto Pharaoh that he sent the children of Israel out of his land. Notice I put that in green because they do everything that they command. The Lord commands. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart. And remember, when we hear that, Joseph Smith translation is, and Pharaoh will harden his heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. Pharaoh was the one that had the decision to harden his heart. And here it says, "But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you." It's in another translation you might hear, "But if Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, or that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. And Egypt shall know that I am the Lord, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them." What's sad about that statement to me is if Egypt finds out that he is the Lord and they don't follow him, how much worse are they off because of their decisions. And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them. So did they. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spake unto Pharaoh, so 63. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle, and he says, or prove yourselves by performing a miracle, for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before the Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moses went in unto Pharaoh, and they did as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. And there's a thing here. How were Pharaoh's magicians able to imitate some of the miracles performed by Moses and Aaron? Down H. Oakes remarked, You will remember that the magicians in Pharaoh's court duplicated some of the miracles Moses produced through the power of God. Perhaps these magicians were servants of the devil using power, but I think it more likely that they were simply skilled practitioners of magic tricks that they used to reinforce their position in Pharaoh's court. Although the magicians of Egypt were able to perform some imitations, they were never able to prevent or overcome the plagues the Lord sent. In fact, their imitations of the first two plagues made circumstances worse for the people of Egypt. Contrast between the Lord's priesthood power exercised by Moses and the imitations wrought by the magicians of Egypt illustrates that God's power is superior to all forms of power. And I think that's what we can get from this, that God's power is more superior. Let's see what happens here. And Moses and Aaron went unto Pharaoh, and they did as the Lord had commanded. And the Lord cast down the rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. And Pharaoh also called the wise men and sorcerers and magicians of Egypt, and they did so in a like manner with their enchantments. So it sounds, they're doing the same thing. For they cast down every man their rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods, showing that Aaron's was much more powerful than theirs. And Pharaoh hardened his heart, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord said. Even, he says, he didn't acknowledge that the Lord was even better, even in that. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, he refuses to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's bank against he come. That sounds a bit funny. To meet him is a better way to, in our terms. And the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand. And thou shalt say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hither thou wouldest not hear. So they're letting them know, there's one person that they need to serve, and it's the Lord. And thus saith the Lord, in this thou shalt know that I am Lord. He's letting them know directly, this is going to happen, and you're going to know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river Nile, and they shall be turned to blood, and the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink the water. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take thy rod, and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, upon their ponds, and upon all the pools of water, that they may become blood, that there may be blood throughout the land of Egypt, both the vessels of wood and the vessels of stone. So everything is going to be turned to blood. And Aaron did so, and the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish was in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. So one thing is the water turning to blood, but also the fish dying. That was probably a big trade for them as well, a big source of food. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and I don't know how they did. Everything was blood already, unless they had a little pot of water, but not much. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he hearken unto them, and Lord, as the Lord said. And Pharaoh turned into his house, and in Hebrew idiom meaning pay no regard. So when we look at this, it says he paid no regard, neither did he set his heart to this also. He didn't really pay much attention to it. Kind of weird, because everything had to be seen. But he's kind of saying, well, my magicians could do something similar. Maybe not on that scale, but they could do it. And all of the Egyptians digged about the river for water to drink, and they could not drink the water of the river. I guess sometimes in our day, you might see somebody saying, oh, I've got scientific proof that the Bible doesn't exist, or I have scientific proof about this or that or the other, rather than understanding the miracles around them, and missing some important things because they think they know better. And scientific proof has been used a lot in the wrong ways. And 7 days were filled that after that the Lord had smitten the river. So 7 days without good water. They had to dig new wells, try to find water. So there's 2 plagues, or 1 plague down. The first thing wasn't a plague, it was a sign. God saying, well, if you accept this little rod being put down, then we can get on our way. But no, he's not going to have it. So we'll see the other plagues tomorrow, and some more interesting things that the Lord does for Pharaoh to understand that he is God. And we'll see you tomorrow.